Hi, this is Gary with MacMost Now. On today's episode, let's take a closer look at the desktop. Now, you may know the desktop as the space here that's kind of the background of your Mac. It is a place where you can put files, and you can see I've put a bunch of different files here, and you may also see things like your hard drive or any attached hard drives. But you can highly customize what goes here. You can clean this area up if it's a mess, or you can try to prevent yourself from using it if you find it gets too untidy. So first things first, there are some preferences that you have. If you click on the desktop or you do anything to get to the Finder, so the Finder is your frontmost app, you can go to Finder Preferences, and under General you've got the ability to show what items go on the desktop. So for instance, I can remove the hard disk from the desktop. I usually don't have this on. I don't find it too useful. Also, you can turn off external disks, or if you have any inserted CDs or iPods. You can turn on connected servers to add servers to the desktop. So you can highly customize what appears there in addition to files. Now if we want to go beyond this, there are some settings that you can change. One of the easiest ways to get to settings for the desktop is to control click or use your right click or whatever your secondary click is on the desktop. And you've got some things here, like for instance I can change the desktop background. But I can also go and do some various things like clean up and show view options. Let's go to show view options first, and you can see that I've got several view options here. These are the same ones you'll find in a Finder window that is showing icons. And I could change the size of the icons here very easily. I can change the grid spacing if I'm using a grid. And I can do all sorts of things like change the label size if I want to make it larger, where the labels appear, bottom or the right. And I can choose what information to show and whether or not to use previews or just plain icons. Also, I can set the default sort here as well, which matches some of these options here. If I control click on the desktop, I can choose to clean up things. Things are already cleaned up here. Let me go and mess things up a bit, move things around. Now if I control click and say clean up, it will match them all to the grid. I can clean them up by something like, say, by name, and it'll arrange them alphabetically. And I have some other options there as well. I can also sort and select whether to snap to grid. So let me sort by kind here, and now this will keep them sorted. You can see now I no longer have the ability to position anything on the desktop where I want because I've set it to sort by something. If I want the ability to put things where I want, I turned off sorting, and now I can drag them back to where I want. Likewise, I could say snap to grid, so now as I move things around it snaps to the grid there automatically, even though I still have the ability to put them on the grid wherever I want. Now here's an interesting thing that most people don't realize. The desktop is just a folder. Let's create a new Finder window, and let's go to my home folder. And in my home folder I'll see familiar things like documents and also music and pictures. It's all there. But also you notice one of the folders is desktop. If I click on desktop I can see the same files that are here. It's the same thing as opening up two separate Finder windows to look at the same folder. In this case I'm looking at the desktop in a Finder window, and I'm looking at it on the desktop. The desktop is only different from these folders in that it has the ability to show the files on the background desktop here in addition to in the Finder. But other than that I can look at it in various ways, like in list view and icon view here in a Finder window, even using cover flow, and view them this way and do all the same things I can with any other folder on the Finder. And this is just a bonus that I get a second view of the files here on the desktop. So this is actually a technique I use to keep my desktop clean. When it gets cluttered like this, one of the things I do is instead of trying to deal with it with these files here on the desktop, I open a Finder window and I go either to column or list view, and I find it's very easy to then go down the list and put things where they belong. The idea is try not to use the desktop folder as a place to put your files. Your files belong probably in the Documents folder, where you can arrange them with subfolders by projects and any way you want. Desktop folders kind of think of as a temporary place to put things. It's very convenient to be able to get to the desktop and throw something there, work with it, but then you want to put something away, you can go and put it into the Documents folder, and of course I like to arrange it in a subfolder there, and keep your desktop clean by keeping things off of it, only using it as temporary quick storage for just a moment. Here's a cool thing about the desktop. You can actually save files to it very easily. When I hit Command S to save and I want to put it on the desktop, I usually just quickly hit Command D inside of the Save interface and it goes right to the desktop. Very easy and quick way to be able to put something on the desktop. So the two main takeaways here are that the desktop is just a regular Finder folder with a unique way of being able to view it. And secondly, keep it clean. It's meant as a temporary place to put files. The best practice is to store all your documents in your Documents folder, not on the desktop. Hope you found this useful. Till next time, this is Gary with MacMost Now. Want more video tutorials? Just go to MacMost.com, click on the videos link at the top of the page, and then you can view all of the hundreds of MacMost videos by category.